Hello everyone. We're here to talk to you today about our amazing CBD and why it's better and why it's a little bit different than most of the types that are out there from other companies. Our CBD is CO2 extracted and they do it at low levels of heat so that they can capture all the benefits of this plant, which there are so many. And it comes in two flavors, cool mint or cinnamon. And what we need to explain compared to other CBD, the way they work on this and get it extracted for you is called micellization. And so what that does, it allows you to absorb it much faster. 85% bioavailability compared to like 7% in normal CBD. So we're talking way better absorption rates. You will feel the effects within 15 minutes. It's 7 times more effective than most CBD from the clinical studies. And it's clinically proven to help things like inflammation, metabolism, sleep, relaxation, A1C levels, weight loss, mood, joint discomfort, and even cholesterol levels. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things it does, but especially, it supports your sleep. Like, you get better sleep. At least I know I do. And I've used this product for, 8 years? Something like that. But besides supporting your sleep, it helps your mood. If you sleep well, you're going to be in a good mood. And it really helps you with just that sense of well-being. And, you don't worry so much. You just feel stronger and good, like peaceful inside. It totally helps in so many ways that it improves your life. This is a lifelong change for me, and it can be for you too. Yeah, you can feel so much better. Sleeping better, reduce stress, feeling less stress, mental and physical improvements. There's just so many things that we just think everybody needs CBD because we have that endocannabinoid system in our bodies that needs fed. We have all these receptors all through the body and we need it. So yes, it's one of God's amazing, beautiful plants that works perfectly in your body. And we can help ourselves, but we can also help our furry friends and our pets because it's made for them too. That's true. You can get this one is called Relax. We also have the Soothe drops, and those come in a natural flavor so you can give them to animals. So try it. Check it out. You'll be glad you did. Check it out at the link below, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to my 3rd edition of Happy Human Ascension vlog, if you want to call it that, where I sort of document my ascension experience and share what I've learned because I'm doing a lot of research on this with you guys, with you, for you. So, yeah, let's move over here. Now, moving over here, this is my website, McAllisterTVonline.com. And this is where all of my videos come together right here. And now the Happy Humans will be uploaded here as well. Also, this is where I like to thank my coffees. I have a new monthly supporter. Her name or his name or their name is someone. Someone, thank you so much. I was so happy when I read that. I have a monthly supporter on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you, someone. And of course, my PayPal's, you guys have been with me since the beginning, and I always like to thank you guys. And of course, the people that send me things through the mail, donations, gifts, just letters telling me things, sharing information, and also just thanking me for my work. It just means so much to me, and I want to thank you with all my heart. And of course, I'm introducing slowly these products. Now, I take it's called Focus, is the name of it. And it is actually a B vitamin formula, and I really like it. It gives me a pop a burst of energy. I take 2 a day, one in the, after my breakfast, and then the other one as it gets towards the evening. You're supposed to take them with food. And I so far so good. Vitamin B, it's very, very important. You get energy from it, but it's that easy, calm kind of energy. You're energized, but you're not like jacked up on caffeine or something like that. And you can get it right here at tranot.com/snarky. And I also want to remind you of My Daily Choice, which they are going out of business, but I'm kind of sad about that. That was my old affiliate. They're still selling their products, and I buy the coffee that they have. It's got CBD in it. It's mushroom coffee, My Daily Choice. That's at snarkycbd.com. And of course, redpillliving.com/snarky, where you can get Carbon Shield 60 products. Carbon Shield 60, very important for decalcifying the pineal gland. So right here at McAllister TV online.com. Now, some of the things I want to talk about before I get started, I'm going to be talking about dry brush massage. This is the most amazing thing, and ever since I read about it a long time ago, I was in my 20s, and I couldn't believe how well it worked. I still use dry brush massage. They call it $1 million health and beauty secret, and I want to talk about that and why it works and why it's so great for your skin. But first I want to talk about this shift, which is, it's imminent. According to all the downloads and the information coming, also according to your own eyes and ears, you can see that things are ramping up. So this shift is imminent. And some of the things, I've been listening to a lot of videos about it, a lot of downloads. All of them pretty much say the same thing. There's varying reports, but some of the things that are consistent, I made notes of. And I just want to go through some of these notes with you guys. Now, if you don't know what Ascension is, you should read about it. But in a nutshell, our planet is ascending into a higher frequency, and we want to ascend with it, and so there's going to be a shift that's going to happen. And it involves the sun and a solar flash, you might have noticed. But for people who don't know, you need to go read up on that. Some people call it the solar flare, the solar flash. Yeah, you need to read up on that. For the shift, this is imminent. And one of the things that is important is to get your energy, get at the right frequency, because I wrote this down. You've got to get rid of your personal ego, and all the little things that come along with your ego, because we are entering a new dimension where there is no room for the ego. So this personal ego doesn't have the flute that the Creator can blow into. And what this is referring to is the fact that we are actually receivers. And so we are actually transmitters and receivers. So we can transmit energy and we can also receive energy. So one of the things that anyone who is aware and considers themselves a light worker or holding the light, which is important at this point, because there's DNA upgrades and things like that in the solar flashes that you can help yourself to raise above all of the negativity. So it says you treat your body with reverence because it is an extension of your soul. So since this is a soul experience that people are going to be having with their souls, whether they know it or not, your body becomes an instrument that can be used as a transmitter or a receiver during this time. Now, this says ground yourself in the earth as you download the frequencies, the energy that's coming from the solar flash, or the solar flares, I should say. Because there's no doubt that there are eclipses and portals and things that are opening where this energy is coming in. And so you want to ground yourself in the earth, take your shoes off, plant your feet in the earth, preferably next to a tree or something where there's roots growing underneath, and accept the energy through your crown chakra. And invite the energy to go through your body into the ground, and vice versa. You can ask the energy coming from the earth to alchemize your, anger, impatient, all of the non-Zen things that are keeping you from raising your vibrations, because there's a lot of different energies flying around now. And what you want to do is get in harmony with it, in the flow, if you want to say it like that. Ground yourself in the earth and feel all of the trees and the birds and everything around you. If you're at the beach, feel the sun, feel the sand. You just immerse yourself in it. And you can receive these downloads, which then will go through your grounding and start to replenish the earth, which also these trees especially have the ability to alchemize or transmute your negative energy into positive energy. So it's like an energy exchange and a alchemizing event. So you want to get your spirit and your matter in a dance, in harmony, like within you and with nature. And also you want to do this in your everyday life during this time. You want to move with mindfulness. And it's like Eckhart Tolle always says, the only thing you really have is this moment now. That's the only thing that's really real. Oops, look, it's gone. I already said that. See what I mean? It's fluid, it likes to run away. But there I said something else. Now I created another moment. But it's the idea is when you move with mindfulness and embrace the idea of love, even in everyday mundane tasks, like when I'm cleaning my kitchen, I love cleaning my kitchen. I worked hard on that kitchen. I designed that kitchen. I remade that kitchen so that I could make nice meals in it, which I'm going to share some stuff with you in just a minute. But so, I take care of it, and I like taking care of it. I like cleaning it. I love cleaning the countertop. It's granite, so I got granite. You know how I like rocks. Everybody knows how much I like rocks. So I handle it, with care, and I really pay attention to what I'm doing and get into it. When you do that, when you move with mindfulness and even love in everyday mundane tasks, you encode the world around you with higher frequencies. So just by doing that, you're helping to raise the frequencies of the planet. Let me read you this again. When you move with mindfulness and love in your heart, even in everyday mundane tasks, you encode the world around you. This is energy that you're giving off. Unbeknownst to you, we are transmitters, and we are receivers, and we are transmitters. So you're encoding the world around you with higher frequencies, even though you don't even know it. So that's why a lot of these philosophers and Stoic people and Carl Jung and all of these people say, take care of yourself first. And that holds true with everything, because if you do that, you're alchemizing. Because you're pampering yourself, you feel better, and you are now emanating positive energy. And your positive energy affects the world around you. You're encoding the world around you with higher frequencies. Why? Because that's what's happening now. That's what's happening. It's a natural event, but you know, that's what happens anyway, but it's all been towards a negative thing. Now it's being recoded with positivity and growth and all of these positive things. So basically, you have a partnership with Source, if you will. Source, the creator, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe. You have a partnership with the universe, with Source. And that is where the I am comes in. It's so important that you acknowledge. Well, first of all, I am. It's like Om or something. It's a sending vibrations out. But with meaning behind it, you're establishing this partnership with Source, because you're not looking outside yourself for anything. I am. I am. I am the great I am. Meaning you're part of it. So that becomes part of your sovereignty. And when you talk about sovereignty as far as legal things, yeah, we have sovereignty, but the courts here don't recognize it. We're living in a corporation. We're not living in a free world. So you can't really use it in court. And if you try to, you better get yourself a dang good attorney. What this sovereignty is talking about is the fact that by being a co-creator, you suddenly have access to other things. Even if they throw you in jail, it doesn't affect you. You're untouchable. You're totally in your... It's like Billy Jack. Remember that? You probably don't remember that. Anyway, Billy Jack, nothing bothered him until you went a little bit too far, and then he had to kill everybody. But anyway, I digress. Sovereignty. That's when nobody can bother you. Nobody can upset you. Nobody can affect you. You just kind of... If you ever watch body cams on YouTube, the cops, they're just like unbelievable. I don't know how they even hold their cool against these people. But, they get called all kinds of vile names, and then they go, oh, okay. And they get like just these drunk people just screaming in their faces and calling them all kinds of vile, things. And they just let them finish, and then they go, oh, okay. Okay, all right, well, you're going to jail. So that's your sovereignty. That's what that means. And if you enjoy your sovereignty to begin with, then you'll just agree with the cop anyway. And he'll probably let you go. And that's how that works. Because basically, you don't react to negativity. All the chaos becomes temporary. You're recognizing that the chaos is temporary, while the peace that you cultivate from within is eternal. So once you find that, get that art, that Billy Jack thing going on where you're like peaceful inside while everybody else is losing their mind, once you learn how to do that, nobody can take that away from you. And by the way, the agitations are going to go away. So that's what the sovereignty is. So yes, when we're going through these flashes, you stand wherever you can and be in the moment and enjoy the birds and give homage to Mother Earth, and you kind of offer yourself as a receiver for the light that's coming down out of the solar flashes, because it wants to go into the earth and also heal the earth, because the earth is tremendously damaged from all of this stuff that has been happening, especially underground and nuclear weapons and all this other stuff. And another thing about the flash, as these stronger energies come in, you have a lot of memories that are basically at the root of a lot of your, quote, demons, unquote, the thoughts that nag you, the people that seem to have control over you and your emotions and stuff. It all comes from these waves of solar energy, which is kind of rewriting our DNA. So in other words, in order to rewrite our DNA, we have to get rid of these old attachments. And in order to get rid of the old attachments, you have to remember what caused it. Why am I like this? Why do I hate this? Why do I get mad when people do this? Why does this trigger me? You have to really analyze yourself. And so during the course of that, you're being your own kind of psychiatrist or doctor, where you're trying to figure it out. Why do I think this way? Why does this bother me? Well, at some point, there's going to be memories that are going to come back, and they're going to be painful, because that's what this whole process is, pinpointing those painful times, like the time your dad, smacked you across the room and you cracked your skull or something. I exaggerate, but that could be traumatizing. So yeah, and then after that, you just had all kind of problems. Well, you might remember that. You might have pushed that way back in your mind, and then you're walking around the mall or something, and something reminds you of it, and it like hits you like like it's happening all over again. And you're like, holy crap, I forgot about that. So these things, when they happen, just don't be depressed by them. Don't, try not to be depressed by them. Why? Because it's not a punishment. It's not there to make you feel horrible. What it's there for is so that you can let it go, and you can say, that's why I act this way. And now that I know this, I'm not going to do it anymore. It says, you're not being punished. It's a portal. So it's a portal when that happens. A portal that you use to ascend into higher dimensions. So that's actually the action that opens the portal. And in my case, I'm angry. I'm just angry about all kinds of things. But I now know why I'm angry, a lot of it. And if I do start to remember something else, I'll welcome the memory. Why? Because it's a portal. It's opening a portal to the fifth dimension for me, a door for me to go through every time that happens. So, try to look at the good side. Now, here is a typical morning breakfast for me. I put crystals all around the house in different arrangements and see which arrangements I like the best. They change the energy, and I like playing with them. And so I have my little arrangement here. And this is my breakfast right here, this watermelon. So why do I do that? Well, first of all, break fast, okay? I'm breaking the fast that I just slept for, 8 hours or 12 hours or however long. And I'm getting up and I'm breaking the fast. But there's several things about this. First of all, watermelon is mostly juice. There's a lot of roughage in it. So you're continuing the cleansing process, I guess is what I'm saying, by eating like a whole watermelon. Another thing is that in your stomach, well, first of all, half of digestion takes place in your mouth. So probably a lot of people don't realize that. But that's why it's very important to chew your food as best as you can, because half of the digestion is taking place in your mouth. And so then once you swallow the food, your body figures out what digestive juices do we need to break this down. Well, you don't need that much, your body doesn't have to work so hard to break down any fruit or plant, just as it is. Like spinach leaves, no, it doesn't cause any wear and tear on the stomach or on the body. This doesn't cause any wear and tear. So it goes down easy on the stomach as you wake up and break your fast. It's almost like you're continuing the fast, okay? And it's much easier for your body to not only break down one thing at a time, instead of mixing all kinds of things in your stomach. Now your stomach has to produce more juices for different types of things. And some things don't even go together. And that's how people get ulcers, from mixing too many different things in their stomach. The more you can keep it just one thing, the better. And I love eating melon. And then I got some coffee or some tea over here. But the point is that I'm trying to make things as easy as I can for my body and continue the cleansing process without, having the hunger pains, I guess, is where I'm going with it. So I just wanted to show you that. Now, here I've got the watermelon, but right now I've got piles of oranges on my counter, and I just pull like 4 or 5 of them and put a cutting board there, and I just eat them. With the skins on them and everything, I cut them and I eat close to the skin because the skin has all the vitamins and minerals in it. And just get the roughage of the orange in there. So it's the same thing just with oranges. And peaches coming out, I'll do the same thing with peaches. Different melons, honeydew, cantaloupe, you get the idea. I don't mix things when I don't have to. When eating a watermelon like this is just as enjoyable. Why would I want to mix a bunch of melons together? It doesn't make any sense. Watermelon's good as it is. So now this is a bowl with shredded cabbage. All this has in it. Shredded cabbage, or finely chopped cabbage, and spring onions, okay? What I do is I dust this with organic pancake mix where you just only add water, okay? So there's salt and pepper and cabbage, chopped cabbage, and then spring onion. And I put a lot of spring onion in there. It's got at least 1/3 spring onion in there. And so there's that. Now here it is where I've dusted it. You can see where I've just sprinkled it with it's organic pancake mix, but all you do is add water to it. So I don't really add any water. I use the liquid that's in there. If I feel like it needs to be thinned down a little bit, I might add a little bit of water. But the idea is you want more cabbage than you do pancake stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then check this out. This is what they end up looking like. Now, I put olive oil in there, light olive oil, and I sprinkle just a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of brown sugar. I take and have it between my fingers, and I just kind of sprinkle it on there, not a lot. And I try to get them, flipped over. What I want is crispy and crunchy. These things are good. They are so good. And they've got roughage in them. And here's what they look like, before the other side gets, You know what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm kind of addicted to these. This is kind of my layout for panini sandwich. And I go ahead and slice the panini in half, and I put pesto on each half. I flip them over. This is the outside of it. So I flip them over. There you go. Here's what it looks like. It's got pesto on it. I put like a spoonful of pesto. And then I just pile it high with all kinds of vegetables, like sliced onions, lots of sliced onions under there. And yes, I put a little cheddar cheese in there, of course. I put lots of sliced tomatoes and sliced onions, and then I top it off with spinach and put some, white cheddar cheese, organic, and then I slap that bad boy back on top of it and put it either in the panini maker or in the, do it in the frying pan. So yeah, so here it is cooking in the frying pan. I don't put a lot of oil in there because there's oil in the pesto. And, it all kind of melts together. It's so good. It smells so good. And it gets crispy on the outside. And yeah, they're delicious. They're delicious. And what I like to do is make two. Because after cook them, make two of them and cook them. And one of them I wrap up in wax paper and put it in the fridge. And all of that stuff kind of, comes together, mixes together, like the pesto and the cheese and all of that. But it's a cold sandwich when it comes out, and I eat those for breakfast. I do. And they are even better the next morning. But it's a good way to get a whole bunch of vegetables in. Now, of course, if you're a meat-eating person, you can put some lean meat in there too. And, you can put any vegetables in here. Like I do just the tomatoes and the onions and the cheese and the spinach. Or I do mushroom in there. One of those big mushrooms, I slice that up. And you can put avocado in. I also use the, after the sandwich is through, I lift it up and use that, it's the reducted type of balsamic vinegar. Anyway, I hope I haven't confused you. But it's delicious. You drizzle it on top of the sandwich. It's so good. Oh, my God. So yeah, here's a good view of it after it melts together. And it is delicious. So these are green beans that have been sauteed in olive oil with tons of garlic, fresh garlic on top. These are so good. They're good cold, just by themselves. I put them on top of salads. And here's a salad I made with spinach and sliced tomato, and I put these on top, and I put some slices of, not sure what kind of cheese that is. I try to stick to the harder cheeses. It's better for you. It's less constipating, okay? There, I said it. And here's my little sort of meal or snack or whatever for the night. I had... if you just take yellow squash or zucchini squash, slice them, drizzle olive oil over it, put salt and pepper over that, ground pepper and sea salt, stick that in the oven until you get it the way you want it. It is so good, just like that. Again, the simpler the recipe, the better it is for you. The more spices and stuff like that, the more your stomach is working to try to create the acids and stuff that it needs to digest all that stuff. And that's how you get acid indigestion. If you just stick to a couple of simple foods. And here's another special treat of salad. This has got arugula and all kinds of really dark greens. Lots of onion. I always use a salad as an excuse to put lots of onion in there. I really love spring onions. This last spring, the onions were so good. They're kind of puny now, but during the spring, they were nice and plump. And we'll see what happens with those. Anyway, the farmer's market, you can get 2 lobster tails for, I think it's $19 or something like that. It's $20 for 2 lobster tails. So every now and again, you know, I have a free-for-all. Get the lobster tails for myself. Why not? And then this is a piece of naan bread. And the naan bread just doesn't have the yeast and all of that stuff that the other. So anytime you can make a concession and say, okay, well, I would have, see, there's that reductive balsamic vinegar that I put on the salad. And then I either use some kind of cheese with the onions and the cheese. It hasn't got a bunch of goo in it. Yeah, sure, there's tomatoes and onions and stuff in there, but it's not a bunch of crap, you know. Now this, I made this from scratch. This is following up on the idea that if you make it at home, it's healthier for you. This is a blueberry cobbler. It was a pretty simple recipe. If I was to redo it, I'd put way less of this stuff, the cobbler part, on top. This is not any kind of special diet. It's just testing out the theory that if you make it at home, it's a lot better than if you buy it from the bakery or from the store, because it's got all these preservatives and things that, like, I know exactly what's in here. You know, it's like 4 ingredients or something. And boy, was it ever good. God, it was good. And I served it to myself with a little bit of ice cream, vanilla ice cream, organic. But still, you know, the organic ice cream is good. You could easily eat a container of it. So, yeah. I also made some roasted grapes with the sprigs of rosemary, and use this next to a piece of salmon that I got. Now, here's something else I'm addicted to. This is a plastic bowl. I put the organic pancake mix in there, but there's not that much of it, and it's very liquidy, so it's going to make a thinner pancake. And then I put just as much as like 50-50, maybe even more blueberries. So it's mostly blueberries, okay? And that's another thing you can do. You can change the percentages. You know, start playing with percentages. Just say, yeah, I'm going to eat this, but I'm going to put a lot less. I'm not going to make the whole meal about this part of it. Now I'm going to make it more about the berries. So it'll start to raise up in the pan, and it'll look something like this. And yes, I put some butter in there. Yes, I did. And I put syrup, maple syrup, 100% pure. Maple syrup over top of it, and that is good eating. Of course, when you bite into it, it's mostly blueberries, but you do have this cakey stuff on it. But still, you're cooking it at home. You're not going to the pancake house. You don't have a bunch of stuff. You have no idea what it is. And when you buy your batter that you like to use, and I like to use something that just mixes with water. But look at the ingredients, because there's a lot of good stuff out there now, I've noticed, since I've been reading the labels. And I'm like, oh, wow, this really only has a couple of ingredients in it. So, yeah, these things are good. Oh, my God, they're good. And they're practically all blueberry. Now, this is something that I've been wanting to talk about. And it's from a book written by Paavo Airola. Paavo Airola, I think is how you say his name. And this book was published. This is the one that I have right here. You can see there's a bunch of other books. And he was writing books in the 70s. You can see from these book covers that he was like part of the 70s health movement. And it has, throughout history, this whole fasting and having health spas and retreats and things like that came back. For a while, they were doing it in the 20s, late 20s and early 30s, and they had all these European health spas where they were curing people. And that's where Arnold Ehret came out of that whole group. And then in the 70s, it came back again. And there were all these health stores and everything that opened up all over the place. And of course, there were hippies but back then, people were trying to just convert themselves into a complete vegetarian overnight, and it just doesn't work that way. A lot of foods are addicting and have addicting properties to them, and I would go so far as to say pretty much all foods that are commercial are addicting in some way. There's some kind of addictive element to it, whether it's sugar, which is highly addictive. And I would say carbonated drinks even, because that the carbonation in itself is addicting. You get to a point where nothing else quenches your thirst. Here's another one of his books, Health Secrets from Europe. And this dry brush massage is actually a European thing. It's also in a book that I have called, I think it's called Swiss Health Secrets or something like that, Swedish Health Secrets or something. But this is a Nordic kind of European thing, this dry brush, and it goes along with circulation. And they do that thing where you jump into icy cold water and stuff like that. So I'm reading from this book. It says, Dry Brush Massage, $1 million health and beauty secret. How many times have you heard that great truths are always simple? So he asked the question, how many times have you heard great truths are always simple? And I've heard that a lot, and Arnold Ehret says that when he talks about fasting in the human body. And practically everything you learn, it always is a lot simpler than you thought it was going to be. And if you hear people talking and, trying to overcomplicate something, I always give them the stink eye, like they don't know what they're talking about, because really great truths are often quite simple. It says, indeed, one of the main reasons why in an age of moon landings we are not able to cure or prevent a simple cold is that scientists are unwilling to recognize the obvious relation between man's ills and his obedience to the simple laws of nature. It's true. I've lived through this where you have to try to convince doctors that processed food isn't good for you, and you're on a fruit diet and a raw food diet, and suddenly, you're like, oh my God, you're going to die. You need to get meat. You need to go to McDonald's to get a hamburger or something. It's like, meanwhile, the doctor, I can remember when I was little going to the doctor's and the doctor had a pack of cigarettes in his pocket. Actually, there's old commercials with doctors with cigarettes, smoking a cigarette. And also in some of the old movies that you watch, that people will start smoking in the doctor's office when they're talking about what's wrong with them. So yeah, there's like this whole idea that you just have to accept this one way of living and eating. And if you don't, you're going to die, you're taking your life in your hands. And people, when all this health stuff started coming back into being back in the 70s, people started, just calling people crazy for eating raw foods and fasting, especially fasting. So yeah, they just will not recognize it. That such a simple thing as what man eats or doesn't eat could be the cause of most of his ills is too simple too unsophisticated a deduction. It is much more glamorous to engage in an elaborate detective hunt in the secret compounds of a complex laboratory enveloped in an aura of scientific mystery and public adoration, trying to find a vicious germ or invisible little virus that threatens man's health and welfare. For example, even when confronted with an irrefutable fact that a certain plant has been used by man for thousands of years for the prevention or cure of a certain disease, the scientist will never be satisfied to simply endorse or sanction its use. No, he will exhaust all his scientific brain power and ingenuity, and through painstaking research, try to isolate the active ingredient of the plant, and, hailing a triumphant scientific discovery, present it to a grateful, disease-ridden mankind in the form of a white pill, which is exactly what they do, and I think you know who I'm talking about. It rhymes with Big Pharma. What I am going to present to you in this chapter would never excite a pill-oriented modern scientist. He would say it's too simple to be true, forgetting the great lesson of history that great truths are always simple. For instance, the present-day antibiotics, which scientists, quote, discovered under such a fanfare, has been used by Indians for centuries in the form of molded dough or molded tortillas. I am going to reveal to you a simple technique which will cost you a total of 50 cents, which will take only 5 to 10 minutes a day to perform, but which will give you $1 million worth of benefits in terms of better health, better looks, and longer life. I am deliberately allocating a whole chapter on this secret. So convinced am I of its importance. I have tested it for 25 years on myself and hundreds of patients and students. The technique is called dry brush massage. It is described in my books, There is a Cure for Arthritis and Health Secrets from Europe, and mentioned in Chapter 9 of this book. I have received numerous glowing reports of great benefits derived from those who incorporate this simple method into their daily routine. So it goes on. It talks about how do you give a dry brush massage, and what he talks about is you need a suitable brush. Well, so that's going to cost you more than 50 cents nowadays. You know, maybe in the 70s you could buy a decent brush for 50 cents. But you want to get a natural brush. But there are thousands of it. I have a whole basket full of these brushes. And I am here to tell you this is a $1 million health and beauty secret, and you can try it on yourself. Like, for instance, if you know how people's skin gets dry and gross and stuff, and, you know, who has time to pamper their skin 24/7? So anyway, you're out and it gets itchy and all of that. Well, and you're putting lotion on it and oils and all of this stuff. You take on the dry skin and take the brush and start giving yourself just instead of rubbing lotion on your legs, start using the brush on your legs. And a lot of times you'll notice the skin coming off. You know, you'll see it coming off in the air. And also, though, it just feels so dang good, especially if you've got dry skin that's itchy. Oh, it feels so good to put the dry brush on there. And you will notice a difference in your skin. It will be smoother. It will look better. And also all these little things that you have that have a tendency to get on your skin, you know, little scabs and things you don't know where they came from. Those are all gone. That you just brush them off. They come off and your skin is glowing and beautiful. And they have certain types of brushes, which I'm going to get into this further because this is so important. But he tells you how to take it with your skin dry and then get in the shower and wash the, all the dead skin off of you. And he talks about why it is so beneficial. He talks about accumulation of waste products in the tissues, which I've already talked about in correlation with fasting. But also, if you do dry brush during a fast, that can be really enhancing to your skin. But just real quick, because, well, let's see. Here is an impressive list of benefits you will derive from a regular dry brush massage. Okay, so let's just go through this, okay? And by the way, before I start the list, there's plenty of videos, but this is dry brushing the body, full routine for lymphatic drainage. And there's lots of YouTube videos for lymphatic, the lymph glands and drainage and dry brush massage. And you'll see a variety of brushes. Like I say, I have a whole basket full. And at some point, I will make a video showing the ones I have and how I use them. And I just, wow, it's like having a masseuse in your house, only you don't have to pay for it. Now, this video right here has benefits of dry brushing on the body. It says here, dry brush massage will give your skin stimulation, exercise, and cleansing of which it is deprived if you have a sedentary way of life. And if you work indoors or work on computers or something like that, you know, you do kind of, your skin and the circulation and all that gets out of whack. But this is one of the things that dry brush does. It gets the circulation going. And you can see it gets, the skin turns pink and stuff when you dry brush. So here's an impressive list of benefits that you derive from regular dry brush massage. Number 1, it will effectively remove the dead layers of skin and other impurities and keep pores open. Number 2, it will stimulate and increase blood circulation in all underlying organs and tissues, and especially in the small blood capillaries of your skin. So you could put it, you know, do dry brushing on your legs. If you have like veins or something, you can do it there. It stimulates and increases the blood circulation of the small blood capillaries in your skin, and also on all underlying organs and tissues. So if you do your stomach, you're actually doing your liver. You're stimulating and increasing the blood circulation to your liver, to all of your internal organs. Number 3, it will revitalize and increase the eliminative capacity of your skin and help to throw toxins out of the system. So your actual skin, which is an eliminating organ, it is the largest organ of elimination on your body. Your entire skin is. And so a lot of the foods and stuff that we eat clog up our pores. And so our skin can't, it becomes less efficient, let's put it that way. And so it is revitalized and increased and more efficient. It becomes more efficient, the eliminating capacity of your skin, and it helps to throw out toxins out of the system. As I said, the skin is the number 1 organ of elimination. Number 4, it will stimulate the hormone and oil-producing glands. So, yeah, you want that. It will stimulate the hormone and oil-producing glands. Number 5, it has a powerful rejuvenating influence on the nervous system by stimulating nerve endings in the skin. It feels so good once you get used to it. And look, if it doesn't feel good, you're in charge of it. You're the one doing it. So you get a different brush. You kind of figure out, okay, what do I not like about this? Is it the brush, or am I doing it too hard, or do I really want to, am I not doing it hard enough? You know, it's like you have to figure out why it's not working. But once you get it to where you like it, it just feels good. You can feel your skin coming back to life. It will help prevent, this is number 6, it will help prevent colds, especially when used in combination with hot and cold showers. So this is where the Swedes get into the picture. You know how they're always, coming out of a hot bathtub and then jumping into an ice hole because it stimulates your skin and your circulation. Yeah, they do this dry brush too. I just assume just do the dry brush. Thank you. Although sometimes I do turn the cold water on for that if I'm in the shower, but I'm in Florida. So, you're not going to get that same shock that you get if you're in somewhere where it's cold. It will contribute to a healthier muscle tone and a better distribution of fat deposits. And I believe it's because when you're doing the dry brush massage, it's stimulating the growth of the muscle, but it's also breaking up the fat that's in your muscle so it can go into the bloodstream. And so you're getting a whole circulation effect there of more sculpting in that area. It will rejuvenate the complexion and make it look younger, fresher, and more velvety. Dr. Paavo Arola, he's got a little bit of a sense of humor here. He says that since the dry brush massage also happens to be one of the most pleasant and enjoyable do-it-yourself health measures, don't you think that the above list is impressive enough to convince you to give this $1 million health and beauty secret an honest try? ? I am confident that once you try it, you will be, quote, sold on it for the rest of your life. Well, I have to hand it to him. I bought this book when I was in my 20s, and I still have it. And also, I still do the dry brush massage. And the only thing I, regret about it is that I didn't have time the past 9 years or whatever to do it more often. Because if you do it regularly, it enhances it even more.
The Buddha often spoke of the importance of simplicity, not just in our actions, but in our thoughts as well. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha shares a profound insight. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. This means that happiness isn't something you need to chase, something to pursue endlessly through more material possessions or external achievements. Happiness is found in the simplicity of each moment, in the quiet and peace that arise when we stop overcomplicating life with endless worries. When we simplify our lives, we release the heavy burden of unnecessary stress and anxiety. We stop overthinking and return to the present moment, where everything we need is already here. Imagine the freedom that comes from not constantly chasing after something more, not always worried about what might go wrong or how things could be better. In this freedom, we find peace. The Zen monks live by a principle known as shibumi, which refers to the beauty and elegance of simplicity. It's the understanding that life's most profound truths are often hidden in the simplest of moments. One Zen master once said, "The simpler the life, the more profound the meaning." This simple philosophy is deeply embedded in the Zen way of life. By reducing mental clutter, eliminating distractions, and focusing on what truly matters, we can experience a deeper, more meaningful existence. When you clear away the noise and distractions, you open yourself up to a world of clarity. You find that life doesn't need to be so complicated. Every action, every breath, every moment becomes more meaningful when you stop overloading your mind with unnecessary thoughts and worries. Think about it. How much of the mental clutter in your life is truly necessary? How much of the stress you feel is self-created by focusing on things outside of your control? We tend to create complexity by worrying about the past or fearing the future, but the truth is, neither the past nor the future exists in this moment. Right now, in the present, you have the freedom to choose simplicity, to let go of the excess mental baggage and focus only on what truly brings you peace. By simplifying your life, you begin to feel lighter, more grounded, and more connected to the world around you. You realize that happiness doesn't require a complicated plan or a constant striving. It's found in the small, everyday moments. A quiet morning, a simple conversation, the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of the wind in the trees. These moments, when fully embraced, are more fulfilling than any material pursuit. In the stillness of simplicity, you can hear the whispers of your true self. When you stop complicating life with unnecessary worries and distractions, you make room for your heart and mind to align. This is where true freedom lies, not in having more, but in needing less. It's not about eliminating all of life's challenges, but about changing the way you relate to them. So, as you move through your day, ask yourself, what can I simplify? What unnecessary burdens am I carrying? What can I let go of to find more peace? By doing so, you'll discover that life becomes clearer, more peaceful, and infinitely more meaningful.
Okay, so keeping in the theme of clearing, getting rid of things. I like to end my videos on something fun, especially these happy human things. And so I was cleaning out my kitchen, which is in great shape now. And I found these Revereware lids, and I'm thinking, what can I do with these things? And for a while I started using them as drums and stuff, an instrument. Because I used to have a song, this is back in 1993, I wrote this song called The White Trash Rap. A lot of people don't know I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper from way back when. I'm old school. I don't do it anymore. But it was called The White Trash Rap, and so I was trying to bang on these pan lids so I could actually sing the song, but it didn't work out. So I did something else with it, and I hope you enjoy it. It's called The White Trash Rap. I really didn't do such a good job with the pans, but it's kind of hard to actually rap and bang pans at the same time. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned some things from it. And for now, I'll be signing off after this.
I wave a rebel flag. My horn plays Dixie and my wheels are mags. I'm on food stamps and I'm on welfare too. I use it to buy chia pets and super glue because I'm white and trashy. That makes me white and trashy. I like to get drunk and give a rebel yell. I'd make a good beautician if I'd learn how to spell. I said I'm trashy. Hey, that's what I said. I lay around all day in my miracle bed because I'm white and trashy. That makes me white and trashy. Living in a trailer park, shooting guns after dark, yelling loud as I can, having me a champagne jam. Hair feathered, gonna fly, jeans tight, heels high, JD in my hand, crank the Charlie Daniels band. I ain't working now, but I will be soon. My workman's compensation will be over in June because I'm white trash. I drive a big old car, but since my DUI, I don't go very far because I'm white and trashy. My car is white and trashy. Living in a trailer park, shooting guns after dark, yelling loud as I can, having me a champagne jam. high, jeans tight, heels high, JD in my hand, crank the Charlie Daniels band. I like lazy boys, and my trailer is full. I met my boyfriend Bubba at the tractor pull.